In a secret government lab in Korea, scientists puts dogs through a series of terrible experiments, hoping they can be used to fight in wars. This program is known as Project Silence. Meanwhile at the Department of Security, Secretary Young gives Deputy Director Cha some extra money as thanks for his support on his campaign. Later at home, Cha watches his daughter Kyungmin pack since she'll be leaving to study abroad. She packs her dead mom's book too and Cha scolds her, complaining about unnecessary weight. Kyungmin gets upset and reminds him it's the last existing copy before rushing to her room. In the evening, Cha takes Kyungmin to the airport. They stop at the gas station and after filling the tank, Cha tries to pay with his card but Joe tells him the reader isn't working and asks for cash. Cha notices that Joe has a master key and accuses him of being a tow truck driver pretending to be a clerk. Joe plays innocent and Cha leaves without paying, saying he'll bring the cash to the owner later. At the airport, sisters Miran and Yora aren't allowed to fly because Yora forgot to renew her passport. However, Yora blames Miran because she's her manager, meaning she'll miss her golf tournament. At that moment they're approached by Sunak who confuses Yora for her cousin. Her husband Byung-hak comes after her and Sunak is startled so she tries to cross the street, almost getting hit by a car. The others quickly pull her back before she gets hurt. Byung-hak has to remind her he's her husband and the sisters realize Sunak is senile. Minutes later all these groups make it to the bridge outside the city, which is covered in heavy fog. Most drivers are trying to move carefully, but there's a guy in a yellow car that is driving like a maniac while recording it for social media. There's also a mysterious car with a cage driving a bit recklessly and Cha has to move quickly to dodge. As the car passes next to them, Kyungmin sees a sad dog on its window. In another car, Dr. Yang is being transported to a lab by a couple of soldiers. The yellow car speeds up even more and almost crashes against another vehicle, so the driver makes it stop rather suddenly and the car ends up blocking part of the road. This forces the bus carrying Byung-hak and Sunak to also stop, managing to avoid hitting the fence at the last second. However, the other drivers aren't so lucky. A car crashes against the yellow one and this triggers a series of crashes that end up involving almost every vehicle on the bridge. Drivers try to dodge or stop to no avail, and some of them have to leave their cars before they could get killed. A huge truck comes next and tries to dodge the bus, which only causes it to fall on its side and start pushing the other cars together. People panic and run out of the car pile right before the truck stops. Soon a police car appears on the opposite lane only to end up crashing against a crane. Back in the gas station, Joe is being scolded by the station owner for losing the money. At that moment they hear on the radio the news about the bridge pileup and Joe deduces Cha must be stuck there, so he leaves in his truck with his dog Jody to look for him. On the bridge, Cha and Kyungmin are still moving on the opposite line and they watch the chaos nearby. The cage car goes ahead safely, but Yang's car gets a tire stuck on some debris and loses control, quickly crashing and flipping. A tire flies out and hits Cha's car, making it crash against the fence while another vehicle with soldiers crashes against the flipped truck, but the cage car stops just in time. The driver then checks the cage to make sure its contents are fine. Kyungmin thinks they should be helping people, however Cha tells her to stay in the car while he investigates. The soldiers have already rescued Yang, who keeps mentioning some dogs. While Cha stays with him, the soldiers run to check on the cage only to find it open and empty except for the body of the driver at the back. The captain immediately orders to jam all cell signals on the bridge. Back to Cha, he takes Yang to his car as he tries using his phone to call for help, but he loses signal and the same happens to all the other victims. He also notices Kyungmin is gone. The girl's currently following a weird noise and discovers a big dog called E9 hitting her head against the fence. Kyungmin tries offering her food to calm her down, but at that moment Cha arrives to protect his daughter and E9 runs away. The soldiers tell Yang that the dogs escape so they must activate the control program. Yang activates a software in his laptop as the soldiers tell him a helicopter is coming, which is overheard by Cha. He thinks nobody should be flying in the fog and explains he works for the Department of Security before asking about the phone signal, but the soldiers just tell him to stay out of it. Cha protests and tries to steal a radio, so the soldiers handcuff him to the steering wheel. At that moment Joe arrives in his truck and sees the cop from before trying to direct the traffic away. Joe takes the chance to make some money by agreeing to tow the officer's car first. In the car, Yang finishes activating the program which shows a whole lineup of dogs. The soldiers put on extra protection as the dogs suddenly run back. They all have a chip in their heads that Yang's program controls, making them violent. The beasts are incredibly fast and soon they're jumping on the soldiers, who use stun batons to try to shock them into submission. Yang notices E9 isn't moving, not knowing why. After lots of fighting and hitting the dogs with their helmets, the soldiers jump inside the cage to make the dogs follow them, effectively trapping them inside. As Yang turns the program off to calm the dogs down, an aircraft arrives and a bunch of soldiers land on the bridge. Jody sees this and runs after them, so Joe goes after her too. Cha demands an explanation, but Yang just tells him to ask his boss about Project Silence before running to join the soldiers. The dogs are moved into a new cage while Yang manages the program, although he gets distracted by Jody barking. Joe tries to reach her, only to be pushed back by the soldiers. Suddenly Kyungmin comes to pick Jody up and a soldier tries to stop her, but Cha comes to her defense. At that moment a soldier finds a chip on the ground and realizes E9 hit her head to remove it. The aircraft starts lifting the cage with the dogs and the man aboard is shocked to see E9 on top of it. She immediately attacks the soldier and causes the towing machine to lose control, dropping the cage on the ground. The co-pilot tries shooting her, however E9 is too fast and immediately kills him before attacking the pilot too. As the aircraft hits the bridge suspenders, E9 jumps out right before it crashes. As it catches on fire, the aircraft spins a few times and gets caught on the suspenders, causing a pitching noise that is driving the dogs crazy. Eventually they finally snap and open the cage to come out. The furious dogs destroy the cars and jump on any person they can find, killing without mercy. Soon the crowd is panicking and running away as more and more bodies drop dead. A dog tries attacking Yang, so he throws his laptop at it as a distraction. It reacts quickly and bites his pants to drag him through the fence, however Cha grabs Yang and pulls him out of its mouth. A soldier appears and starts electrocuting the beast, only for a second dog to jump and kill him. There's another beast coming, so Cha runs away with Kyungmin, Jo, and Jody. Yora can't reach Miran, who is stuck among the running crowd. A dog is coming after her, so Yora grabs a golf club and hits it before running away with her sister. Jo tries to get in his truck and finds a dog there, so he starts running too. Yang finds a working car so Cha and Kyungmin get in with him, driving away after a bit of struggle with some debris. Cha doesn't want to stop to pick up Jo and Jody, but his daughter forces him to. Jo and Jody get in the trunk right before the dog could reach them. While other survivors rush to hide inside the bus, Cha's group moves ahead and watches how the aircraft stuck on the bridge finally explodes. Pieces start to fall and land in the middle of the bridge, causing flames to spread on the gas leaked by the truck and block the exit. The fire makes another car explode too and more debris flies off, breaking the window on Cha's car. He loses control of the vehicle and starts turning to avoid the flames, but they still crash against the fence. Meanwhile Jung is trying to send help, but helicopters can't fly to the fog and the bridge is too high for ships to reach it. However, he tells the reporters they're using all their resources for a proper rescue. Back to Cha, he takes Yang's radio and tries asking for help, but he gets no replies as another dog jumps on the car. The creature sniffs at the glass for a few seconds but gets bored and leaves. Then Yang explains he developed rescue dogs that respond to human voices, but the military made him reprogram them for hunting. This was a commission from the US and European countries, who wanted killer canines that could find and kill terrorists. They're trained to recognize their target's voice, but the project didn't go well and the dogs became too violent. They were on the bridge because the military was trying to dispose the failed samples. After another try, Cha manages to use the radio to contact Jung, who tells them to move back to the middle of the bridge because the flames from the truck had toxic gas. Cha tells Jung about Project Silence and how it involves the current minister, saying he has enough evidence to bring him down. However, Jung informs him that the project also involves their own department. At that moment a few dogs surround the car, but another explosion happens and the flames get even bigger, scaring the dogs away and causing smoke to get in the car. Luckily the bus comes over to help, so the group covers their faces and runs to join the other survivors. The bridge is starting to go down, so the bus immediately pulls back as the aircraft finally falls, causing the biggest explosion yet. The fire and the shockwave break the suspenders, making the middle of the bridge collapse. A bunch of cars fall into the sea but luckily the bus gets away just in time. Nearby, E9 has gathered her pack. Once things have calmed down, Cha introduces himself and explains the authorities are delayed because of the fog, but assures the survivors that rescue is coming. He also lies a lot, saying the phones are down because of the explosion and the dogs are the army's canine unit going through a bad case of rabies. People are skeptical, but Jo backs Cha's argument and everyone believes it. Then Jo finds an abandoned alcohol bottle and steals it before asking Cha to talk in private at the back. Jo wants the gas money and Cha surprises him by offering a juicy reward and a medal if he keeps his mouth shut. Minutes later a SWAT team descends on the bridge and go directly to the bus to evacuate, saying they haven't seen the dogs. Cha contacts Jung about the potential danger, but Jung insists the soldiers will protect them. The group starts crossing the bridge, noticing all the bodies on the ground. Suddenly Yang sees a dog running among the cars and steps back, accidentally activating a car's alarm. To their shock, more alarms start wailing around them and the soldiers move ahead to investigate, only to suddenly be ambushed by the dogs who had been triggering the alarms on purpose. The beasts are so smart that when they attack the soldiers they go for the guns first, causing them to fire at random and hurting some people in the process. Miran gets shot in the leg and Yora rushes to get between her and the dogs, using an object as a shield. While the soldiers are killed one by one, Sunak loses her sense of reality and tries to pet a dog, who throws her on the ground and hurts her before a bullet scares it away. Cha is also jumped on by a creature and holds it back while noticing Jo hiding under a car. Jody then starts barking and gets the dog's attention, so Jo runs away with her while Cha rushes to help his daughter. Kyungmin is pulling at her bag to get it back from a dog and Cha wants her to drop it, but she refuses because she wants her mom's book. Cha forces her to let go and drags her back, but when the dog tries to follow them, a soldier shoots it. Then another creature kills that soldier too. Afterward, Cha and Kyungmin run back to the bus, hiding in the luggage compartment. Unfortunately, Cha realizes his radio fell, so he comes out again. He quickly grabs the radio and takes the chance to get his daughter's bag and a flare gun. While waiting, Kyungmin watches a video of her mother reading the book to her in the hospital and misses his dad's smile. She's interrupted by Yang, who opens a hatch that takes them into the main part of the bus. Then Yang explains that E9 is the original dog, all the others are her clones. She sees them as her children, and during the experiments, she had to watch how the humans kept killing her puppies. What she's doing now isn't hunting, it's revenge. Meanwhile, Cha finds the remaining survivors hiding together inside a fallen truck. Only Joe, Jody, the sisters, and the elderly couple are left. Joe admits he's told them the truth about the dogs and Sunak is heavily bleeding. Cha lights some torches with a flare and shoots the other in the sky before calling Young, who sees the flames on the security cameras. Cha explains the group will try to leave on the bus and asks for snipers to shoot at the dogs, but Young refuses because reporters will record it and promises there's a SWAT team waiting at the bridge break. A desperate Cha informs him the survivors know everything and Young hangs up. When the group reaches the bus, Kyungmin tries opening the door and Yang stops her because he's afraid the dogs will come in. They are currently surrounding the bus, so the survivors try to scare them off with the flames, but one dog still manages to reach Sunak and bites her stomach. Byung-hak uses his torch to burn the dog and make him back off, however the dog gets her foot instead. The torches are starting to die down, so Joe drinks the alcohol from earlier and spits it at the fire, creating huge flames that effectively keep the dogs at bay. Cha takes out the flare gun and almost shoots Yang, but instead he shoots the flare at the ground. The resulting flash of light blinds everyone and Yang lets go of Kyungmin, who finally opens the bus door. The survivors rush into the bus and Joe kicks Yang for not helping. Then the group notices the bus has no keys, so they use Joe's master key to make it work. Meanwhile, Young cancels all conversations with the press and is losing support for his candidacy for president. He gets a message from the minister saying he gets to choose if saving the survivors or not. The bus reaches the bridge break and Cha tries contacting the SWAT team through the radio, but nobody answers. The group argues over what to do because the dogs are out there waiting, and Kyungmin comes up with a plan. They hide in the luggage compartment with a camera, and while they wait, Sunak unfortunately dies. Soon the dogs enter the bus and the group pulls a thread to close the door, leaving them trapped. The survivors immediately start coming out, yet Byung-hak refuses to leave his wife. As Cha tries to argue with him, the dogs find the hatch and try to open it, so Byung-hak tells Cha to go while he stays to keep the hatch closed. The dogs manage to bit Byung-hak's arm and Cha starts pulling at him, however Joe comes to drag him away. Then Byung-hak closes the luggage compartment right before the dogs come down to kill him. Cha wants to run back to save him, so Joe has to grab him again and remind him it's too late. Afterward, the group searches for the SWAT team, but there's nobody around. When Yang learns who Cha has been talking to, he laughs and explains Young started Silence Project, which got him his current position. A furious Cha calls Young and insults him for his lies, saying the survivors will escape and he wants medics plus the press waiting for them or he'll make Young regret it. The group wants to use Joe's truck to escape through the toxic gas, but the keys are back in the bus. Yang looks for his laptop and they make a plan to lower the dogs into the cage. Cha will act as bait, and before he gets into the cage, Kyungmin tells him she doesn't want to study abroad. She also gives him her mom's book. Yora gets her golf clubs ready and finally admits to Miran that she knew her passport had expired. She didn't say anything because she was too afraid to play in the tournament. Next, Yang activates the transmission of Cha's voice, who is reading the book. As the dogs start going crazy, Yora begins hitting golf balls, making them hit the bus window over and over until it's weak enough for the dogs to jump through it. The beasts immediately reach the cage and start shaking it to reach Cha. Joe uses this chance to get his keys back from the bus, only to discover E9 is still there because she doesn't have a chip. A terrified Joe runs to his truck where the others are waiting. E9 follows him and attacks Yang as soon as she sees him. Yang picks a stun baton from the ground and starts shocking E9, who suddenly pulls back when the ground starts shaking. Another section of the bridge is collapsing, causing the cage and the dogs to fall with the other cars. E9 runs to help her pack, but the vehicles bring them down as they slide and fall into the sea. The last dog is caught under some debris and E9 tries her best to help. The cage also slides down but gets stuck on the bridge at the last second. At that moment, Joe and the others arrive with the truck, but Cha tells them to stay back because the truck's weight will make it worse. While waiting for the end, Cha reads the note his wife wrote for her family at the end of the book. Then he sees Kyungmin coming closer with the towing hook, so he opens the door to tell her to stay back because the dogs are nearby. However, E9 won't attack Kyungmin because she was nice to her. The bridge continues to collapse and the other dog falls, so E9 jumps after it and falls as well. The cage slides down a little more and Cha holds on as much as he can. Suddenly Kyungmin appears on top of the cage and connects the hook before climbing inside with him. Afterward, Joe and the others get on the truck and drive off, dragging the cage behind them. The bridge keeps on collapsing, so the truck speeds up and everyone covers their faces as they go through the toxic gas. Joe has to dodge a bunch of flames along the way, causing the cage to bump against lots of debris. There's another part of the bridge breaking here and Joe has to pull a crazy move to dodge it too, which disconnects the cage in the process. When they finally make it to the safe area, the survivors think Cha and Kyungmin are dead, however the cage suddenly shows up because its wheels are rolling, thanks to gain momentum. Once Cha and Kyungmin join the others in the truck, Cha promises Joe he'll get him that medal because he earned it. The truck keeps on driving and they make it to the end of the bridge, where the authorities and the reporters are waiting. Jung offers them a warm welcome, only for Cha to punch him. Then he throws the money on the ground before telling the reporters the entire truth. Both Cha and Yang offer all their recordings as proof of the experiments. Cha announces Kyungmin doesn't have to go abroad and they share a happy smile. Meanwhile on the shore, E9 comes out of the water bringing her last living clone. Then she looks at the bridge, planning her revenge. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.